management, or other advertisers. This program is sponsored by TechTime Radio. Visit them online at techtimeradio.com.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Well, welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host, Mike Roday, is in studio today. He's an award-winning author and a human behavior expert. Today's show is going to have lots of human behavior elements to talk about. And, of course, now we're live streaming during our show on 4 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We are no longer on X. We are actually moving all of our stuff to Blue Sky. So if you're an X listener and been following us through there, you may want to move over to Blue Sky with us also. And we do encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We are friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right. Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, buckle up as we dive into the technology news and stories. And here's what we have coming up on the show today. Now, today's show is packed with the latest tech news and some intriguing discussion. First off, we're going to dive into Instagram's latest move to introduce teen accounts. As criticism mounts over social media's impact on teen mental health, Instagram is stepping up with new protections and features designed to specifically target younger users. But is it enough? Then we explore a 2-year-old Tech Time Radio article from Apple. Then we move our segment on to our feature segment, Letters. Prepare for a funny yet informative reading of the most bizarre emails I've received this week. From scams to phishing attempts and outright mistruths disguised as legitimate emails. We break them down, laugh a little bit, and learn how to spot these digital traps. We're also discussing a crucial area, an issue regarding our digital history on the Nathan Nugget. Now, Amazon has ordered its employees to return to the office days during the week. This move comes with warnings of potential corporate restructuring. What does this mean for the future of remote work at one of the largest companies? And finally, we introduce you to Genmojis, Apple's latest feature. And of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and a possible Nathan Nugget. And of course, our pick of the day whiskey taste is to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. Now, though, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, Instagram debuts teen accounts as criticism for the impact on teen mental health grows. Let's go to Corinne Westland for more on this story.
Instagram parent Meta announced a series of features for the social network today that it says are designed to protect teen users from interacting with inappropriate accounts and content. It will automatically begin putting teen users under 16 into Instagram teen accounts. The feature puts limits on who teens can message, who can tag them, and what they see in the app. Meta points out that it will take more than app changes to prevent teens from skirting app rules, saying it's important for companies and governments to work together to find a solution. Back to you in the studio.
All right, so this is teen accounts. So what it does is it puts the user account into private mode by default, meaning that teens will need to accept new followers and people who don't follow them can't see their content. So you can't bully on somebody immediately if you can't see their account, so it's in private mode. Teens can only message people they follow or are connected with. So you can't randomly DM somebody or do a direct message to somebody. Only if you are a shared connection and liked in the account are you able to do it. Now, sensitivity controls are also added. There's a time limit reminder to tell all teens that after they use the app more than 60 minutes in a day that they need to get off of it. It has a sleep mode, which will turn on between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., muting notifications and sending automatic replies to the messages. Now, teens under 16s will have to get their parents to change any settings. And in the future, the company says parents will be able to change app settings without their teens sending a request first. Now, Meta's Instagram teen accounts come after 42 state attorney generals called on Congress to allow essentially the ability to create labels for social media apps that are better than they currently had. In a note, the attorney general said social media platforms are fueling a mental health crisis among young people, and the Surgeon General's warning on algorithmic powered social platforms could help address the matter. So there's a bunch of anxiety. Meta is facing an onslaught of lawsuits related to teen issues. All the way back in 2023, a series of states filed lawsuits against Meta for allegedly designing its platform to be addictive to teens. In February, New York City joined a long list of school districts suing social media companies over what they say are negative effects on their platform. All right, I'm going to go right over to my expert psychologist. Mike, what do you think? Do you think this change from Meta is enough? Do you think that they're doing a good job? How do you feel about the coming out with this new teen control?
I have about the same opinion as I had when we talked about their children controls back 6 months ago. I think it's nothing but air.
All right.
It doesn't really address the problem. It's not going to address the problem. There's no way that Meta can control how people get onto their site.
Okay.
And as a teen, did you
We didn't have social
have
media,
ways
right?
around
Getting
rules?
in trouble? Yeah.
No. I'm talking about rules.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
this is basically a rule set.
Yeah, I'd go over to my friend's house,
And-
supposedly
yeah.
spend the night at my friend's house,
Right,
and then we
right.
go and do stuff that was in trouble.
Same thing
and-
here. I will
Okay.
just get my quote unquote parent to change my rulings, or I'll just create an account where my birth date is not my birth date.
You just change it to make it that you're
Okay.
21 years old when you
These
sign
are-
up for a new account, right?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
21, not 18.
Well, so 18 is the number you need to have. You can put whatever you down, but most people put down as an average when they sign up for social media accounts, they use 21 as the starting number of how old they are when they normally create the accounts.
Mm.
So let me go to you, Odie. So as a teenager, did you have Instagram access?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had these new regulations where you could only communicate with people directly.
Okay. I grew up in an immigrant household.
Yeah.
Where my parents also don't know technology. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
Okay.
So anything that, the whole need permission for Instagram, that would not be on me at all. Because I would just override it
You just
myself.
create an account so you're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that my point stands. I mean, that we're talking about a platform, a financial platform that is based on making people addicted to it.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you can't escape that.
I was going to say also that
A 60-minute a day reminder. I mean, what are you going to do with that?
That's not
Dismiss?
that's not
It's
gonna
going to come up on your app and you're going to be like, dismiss. If I want to stay on there, I'm going to be there. It's going to be annoying for 1 second and then it won't be there any longer.
Well, so there's that, but also I was thinking about the I don't know what you call that. The grounding from like 10 p.m. to what?
10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
To
a
7
sleep
a.m.?
mode.
Sleep mode.
Muting notifications and sending automatic replies to
They're
these
going to be
messages.
losing a whole lot of people there.
Do
they realize that?
No, I don't think they.
I'm sure
I
that they
think
do.
they
They
know
have
that
to know
they're
their
not
metrics.
going to.
What?
I think they know that they're not
They're
going to lose.
They know that everybody's
going
going to create an account that's
I
18
think
or
of
older,
course.
and they're not going
But
to
that
follow it.
doesn't
But then they
help
can say legally that they have these restrictions and, oh, this person lied to us. It's not our fault. The liability is with that
Right.
person because we thought they were
I
21.
do think that the nice thing about it is the privacy when it comes to DMs.
Yeah.
Because that is it's ridiculous how simple it is for me to
Yeah.
make like a 6-year-old or
But
not a
if
6-year-old, but like a child's Instagram profile and how many people will instantly start messaging them.
But again, if you bypass that system entirely, you won't have that feature available.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So it really, I mean,
so you're
all it
saying
is
everybody's
a
going to sign up and
framework
say
of
that they're
saying,
18.
look,
the 20 kids that actually have this set up correctly from their parents, poor kids. I mean, they're gonna be the only kid at school that'd be like, "Hey, I'm sorry you can't message me at 10 p.m. I get my messages," and they'd be like, "What?"
Nowadays, some kids don't even care about it anymore. I mean,
you have to have access to your phone. You'd have to have your
but
teenager's
I'm talking
phone
about
checked
social
in.
media.
Otherwise, all I got to do is uninstall the app, reinstall it, create a new account on my phone, say I'm 18, and boom, bang, I'm up and running, and nobody knows.
But I'm also curious because growing up, with the height of Facebook, the minimum age for Facebook growing up was 13. And I remember being in elementary and all these kids lying and saying they were way of age.
This
And
is
one of the
just
things-
standard. This is just standard.
Right. But one of the things that they would do was friend like upwards of 500 some people. What elementary school kid knows 500 some people?
It was just all
Now,
about however many people I can
with
get.
that in mind, with the whole like you have to follow the person back or allow them to follow you, is there any age restriction on that? Because personally, I know that those kids will not care. They want the follower count.
No,
So they will
there's
accept
no age
anyone.
restrictions.
I think this is more based on them trying to
appease
of
appease the
course.
legal
Law.
gods so that people don't keep bringing
But
lawsuits against them.
I'm willing to. I'm what do you call that? Following my brother who is 14.
Okay.
I'm okay with the idea of not being allowed to follow and interact with him if it means he can't talk to any adult online.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'd prefer that as a solution than just, oh, you have to be following or you have to allow the person to follow you before they can message you. That doesn't do anything.
Makes sense. All right, let's go on to story number 2.
Let's talk about Genmojis.
What do we got going on in story number 2, Odie?
Apple's Genmoji, a new feature integrated into its latest software updates as part of its advanced generative AI system, Apple Intelligence. This innovative capability allows iPhone, iPad, and Mac users to generate personalized emojis tailored to their preferences, offering a fresh level of customization in digital communication. So, what is Genmoji? Genmoji stands for Generative Emoji, enables users to create unique emojis by simply describing them in text. For example, users can request an emoji by typing descriptions like smiley relaxing with cucumbers or T-Rex riding a skateboard in a tutu. Then the AI then generates multiple design options based on the description, allowing users to select their favorite version. While iOS currently boasts a vast library of standard emojis, Genmoji aims to enhance this by providing more personalized and expressive options. The feature is part of Apple's broader Apple Intelligence framework and will only be available on iPhone 15 Pro models and newer, recent iPads, and Macs equipped with M1 chips or later versions. Genmoji will roll out with the upcoming iOS 18, iPadOS 18, and macOS Sequoia updates.
I got my Sequoia on my new
Which
Mac.
was yesterday,
So
yeah.
I got
make
that.
a Genmoji.
I can make it. So okay. Yeah. What else do we have? Are you gonna go create a Genmoji?
Yeah. When I saw what is it? A keynote speech? Is that what they call it? When I saw that, I was really excited. It's free for now.
Yep. It takes a
pretty
lot of work on
basic.
their back end because whatever the emoji is, it has to be shared on their chat system. So that means once they create it, they have to have that library within their system to share out. If you make an octopus with Snicker bars coming out of its head,
I don't think
with something,
that.
it actually will keep it. So if I text you, I can see that emoji on my platform itself also. So there's a lot of back end work to make that actually work. Whereas their standard emojis, they have that design set throughout all their code. And if you have their OS, you can get it and you don't. So this is a creative way of using their operating system and creating an AI assisted graphic.
But I'm excited to see what people do with it.
What are the restrictions on inappropriate emojis?
See, that's what I was thinking because there's no longer a gun emoji. What if I wanted to T-Rex that's just guns ablazing in a tutu?
That
That wouldn't be allowed.
probably
It'd be a squirt gun,
they'll give you
but-
a warning. I haven't done it myself,
Okay.
so I don't know.
How
But
about
they probably give you a warning on
an
the guns.
eggplant flying 2 birds.
Okay. Yeah. I bet you some other stuff. I would expect if Apple's going to do this, they're going to have some that could probably be risque emojis that they'll probably approve as long as they're not too violent or too over sexualized. I think they're probably going to have a kind of a gray scale, so you can be creative but not over the top. But you're going to go create your own?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think I can
yeah.
only use it on my Mac, but
It's from Mac to Mac or iOS
no,
to
no,
Mac.
but I have.
Yeah,
What?
get it on your phone. You can put it on your
But
phone, right?
it says here that you need iOS 15. Like
Yeah, did you
iPhone
update?
15.
Did you update last night? There was a brand new update.
I have not.
Go take a look at your phone.
We'll go do
You're
that.
in the show, and I bet you there's an update that's pending for you. And if you get that taken care of, I bet you it'll be good to go. See, look at that. You had a pending update. All right. Let's go to story number 3. Mike, you ready for story number 3?
Sure. We've already talked about Meta. We've talked about Apple, and we have taken a shot at X. So we might as well talk about Amazon.
Why not? Right?
Right on.
I mean, if we're gonna offend everybody, let's just go for the gusto.
So Amazon has ordered all employees to return to the office 5 days a week,
Okay.
and has also warned of corporate restructuring.
Uh-oh. So they all in the same message?
It was
Kind of,
it was
yeah.
all in the same message, but it's not necessarily meant for the one group and the other group.
Oh,
So
you don't think so? You don't get it?
well,
if
we
you
all
get,
know-
if you
we
get a
all know
message
how.
email that says,
yeah, we all know how this is going to work out in the end.
okay,
right?
all right.
Amazon is mandating that corporate workers return to the office 5 days a week. CEO Andy Jassy said this in a note on Monday. The return to office mandate is a sharp change from his current hybrid policy, which requires employees to work from the office at least 3 days a week. Amazon employees will have until January 2nd to switch to the new policy. CEO Andy Jassy detailed the return to office mandate by saying that Amazon will also be streamlining its corporate structure, management positions in particular, to quote unquote remove layers and flatten the organization. The Seattle, Washington-based company rapidly expanded during the pandemic before Jassy took the helm in 2021 and implemented cost-cutting measures and widespread layoffs. As a result of growing the company so quickly, Amazon hired a lot of managers and added more layers than they had before, he said. Those layers clogged up the food chain, creating pre-meetings for meetings and a more convoluted chain of command. In addition to tweaking the company structure, Jassy said the main focus of the return to work mandate was making sure employees are set up with the ability to interact. We want to operate like the world's largest startup, which I think is stupid. Jassy said.
Amazon's a startup.
So,
Okay.
this is
Before we
ridiculous.
continue on, let's just talk about
Okay.
that. They're the biggest delivery service. You're not a startup when you're
No,
doing
you can't act like a startup.
Prime
as big as they
Video.
are.
You do the Rings of Power, $1 million and millions of dollars on a production company.
Or you mess up the Rings of Power if you're on that side
if
of
you're
the
watching
fence.
that side too. So somehow they're going to be a startup again.
Yeah, this is just a bunch of.
You know what startups have? Normally, everybody working there has a piece of the company, so they all have something invested in it. That means you're working not 40 hours a week; you're working 90 hours a week.
You're working a ton of the time.
That is your life. You've given
no
everything else up
rules.
to go there and work to make that job be successful. That's what a startup is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this guy is thinking, but
Maybe smoking a little.
there's
420 on the
maybe
Seattle
there's-
streets or something.
I find this to be a very heavy-handed and more ridiculous. I think a lot of times we do these measures because we want to think we're in control, and by having your employees there 5 days a week, it's going to give you that feeling of control.
I just gave one of my employees an extra day to work from home because when he's in the office, he gets more distracted and he can't spend his time coding. So he now has an additional day. I say, stay the heck away from the office because if you're at the office, you're getting office politics, you get office questions and answers, which are great to be in, but he can't be as productive. So I told him
Yeah,
to take an extra day.
we talk a lot about diversity and inclusion and stuff like this. What we don't really talk about is that the world of work is primarily an extroverted society, and these are people that like other people and they like getting together and talking. And then there's a significant portion of introverts that they can't deal with other people.
Yeah.
It's not because they don't like them. It's just that they work better in environments that are quiet and have little
So
distractions.
Amazon's AI on the AI spectrum seems to be coming up, and there's some concerns that it may actually get as good as Chat GPT. So that's probably from a lot of introverts working from home, coming up with concepts of how they can compete. But I'll continue on. I'm sure they have some exceptions, right? That they're going to allow.
No, they're
No?
he's basically saying we want to go back to pre-pandemic standards.
Okay.
And it will be quote unquote understood if an employee has an exceptional circumstance, like a child who is homesick, or a home emergency, or time spent on the road meeting with clients or partners. So it's basically
So it's just
saying
back to normal.
It's basically saying, hey, we don't like the way the pandemic changed our society. We're going back to the way it was, and you better deal with it.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that there's probably going to be a lot of people who leave the company because when you make changes like this, it really creates a lot of stress and a lot of problems.
See, Microsoft, and again, I'm a Microsoft
Yes, we all know.
hero. I work there, but so they've already had this process where they had everybody come on back already, and they came really strong when they came back with this about 6 to 8 months ago when they said, okay, we want everybody back in. And then they relaxed it, which is such a smart leader way to how to do something is you kind of come on strong. You say, you're going to do this, but I would never attach it to layoffs. So Microsoft's laying off a bunch of people right now in the Xbox game division all across the company. And they're not making big news because they didn't say, hey, come back to the office. And if you don't come back to the office, we're going to fire you.
Is that how you interpret? Is that how you interpret
absolutely.
the note?
That's what I would read absolutely out of Amazon's thing.
I think a lot of people probably did too.
I think
come
that's
back
probably
or you'll be
strategically
fired.
decided to send it that way in
Yeah.
the email communication.
Yeah, it's my opinion of corporate America is very negative.
It's a little bit on that curve. All
corporate
right,
feudalism.
With story number 4, I have a follow-up story that we talked about. Whoa.
Are you sure? Can you talk?
I got all choked up over that Amazon story.
I guess.
We have a follow-up story that we talked about 2 years ago ahead of the mainstream media. Now, this is a follow-up to the TechTime Radio announcement where we said Apple AirPods were looking at having a possibility of becoming a hearing aid. Do you know what the cost of a standard hearing aid is nowadays? A single
they're a lot of money.
$3,500 to $5,000 is the standard cost of a hearing. Now,
and they're not covered by insurance.
They're not covered by insurance, so you have to get it on yourself. They do have like skin colors that blend in, so it's not as sticking out as it used to be. But the FDA has approved for some Apple AirPods to be used as hearing aids. What's funny is these Apple AirPods you can get for $199, $399, $499 are actually better acoustic speakers for you to listen in than it would be on most hearing aids. The technology they have built into them are superior to the technology that's built into the hearing aid itself. Now, this will only work for the AirPods Pro 2 earbuds and iOS 18 compatible iPhones or iPads. And I think Odie's upgrading to iOS 18 right now as we speak. It's intended for adults 18 or older, but more than 30 million American adults have some degree of hearing loss, but only 1 in 6 Americans have a hearing impairment between the ages of 20 and 69 actually use hearing aids due to the high cost. You just said that. Lack of accessibility, poor customer satisfaction, the stigma of having a hearing aid, according to the National Council on Aging. Hearing aids may boost longevity. Studies find researchers show that if left untreated, hearing loss can increase the risk of social isolation, depression, cognitive decline. Meanwhile, other studies suggest using hearing aids may reduce the frequencies of severity for those with health problems and older adults. So essentially, hearing aids are a good thing to have in society if you need assisted hearing. With the new feature, Apple AirPod owners will be able to check their hearing at home through a 5-minute test and adjust their sound settings based on their hearing. Your Apple Pods Pro will transform into a personalized hearing aid, boosting the specific sounds you need to hear in real time. like parts of speech or elements within your environment, Apple said. So we talked about this 2 years ago, said this would be a good idea. The FDA has approved it. This is going to be huge. You know what? There is not a stigma with having an Apple AirPod in your ear.
Well, I was just about to say, I am so excited for teens to abuse this.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
what a big thing that my cousins are now dealing with, they're all in high school, and they don't want to take their AirPods out. They find it ridiculous. Why should I take my AirPod out? Now they have this excuse of, oh, well, it helps me hear. That's what I'm so excited
still have to
for.
have an
You
app.
still have no.
You have to have an app
in
that's
order to have an accommodation, you have to have something to accommodate.
Okay.
Right,
And
but as
this,
a teacher, you're not allowed to, kids nowadays are so protected by their parents. Like, oh, why are you going to take away my AirPods? Mom?"
there's still
you
there's
know?
still procedures you have to follow.
Oh, of course, but they're gonna.
If
yeah,
I was
there's
a teacher. You know what? If I was a teacher, if you want to have your AirPods in, have them in.
Okay.
And if you're not paying attention to what I'm lecturing you on, and you don't have the tools to collect the information, then best on
you know,
for
we
the
can't
test.
change the system. You know, it's just. But this is like people abusing the assisted animal
Exactly.
thing.
Thank you. Okay, yeah.
All right.
It's just it'll be fun.
There are ways around it, and there are ways to confront it.
Well, our 4 stories went a little longer than normal, but that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, we have our letter segment up next with a fishing attempt, not on a boat, but in real life that actually almost had me click on the link itself. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll see you after this.
This is Mark
And Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer.
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Well, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is away. So we have our producer, Odie, filling in. Odie, what are we tasting today?
We're tasting from Proof and Wood's website, the Barrel Proof Straight Rye Whiskey, aged a minimum of 6 years in a new charred oak barrels. Bottled at barrel proof to showcase the bold rye flavors, which are described as a nutty palate with notes of toffee, orange peel, herbs, and light tobacco, with chocolate brownies and blackberry emerging with water.
I don't know if I get any brownies or blackberries, but I do taste the smoke in there.
Well,
that's good.
rye.
That's good.
Okay.
I really don't know where all these other flavors come from, but
Okay.
Here are the stats. The company is Proof and Wood Ventures. Distillation is sourced from MGP in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Classification is a straight rye. Aging of 6 years with 123.3 proof. Mash bill is 95% rye and 5% malted barley, with a price of $80 on the market.
$80 on the market. Well, I know you're not a straight rye fan.
No, this is definitely a straight rye.
It has that whole taste to it.
And I totally get rye. I remember why I don't like rye.
You don't like rye? I have already tasted this pre-show. I'm sorry, I tasted it.
You're a pre-taster. We all know it.
No, I tasted the pre-show a couple days ago, and I liked it really a lot, and so it has not changed my taste. I will be interested to see when I leave it out if it tastes differently throughout our show itself, because the last time I had it was kind of just a shot, and I continued on. So
You're gonna have to listen to the mumbles for that.
Right. Okay. Well, with our first whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our feature segment. Today, we bring back the funny yet informative reading of emails that I received during the week. This includes scam, phishing emails, and all-out mistruths disguised as legitimate emails in a segment we call Letters.
Letters, we get letters. We get back and back the letters. Ah, letters, we get letters. And the letters all have
All right, I'm going to go first on the letters, then Mike and Odie will end us out. All right, I got an email here from David Guest. David Guest's email is not David, though. It's Franz at Outbound Solutions, something number.org. So that always makes me feel a little bit
That's so secure. I don't know
so
why
secure,
you wouldn't
when
trust
you add numbers into your domain name.org. But you know what? I think David's trying to get in touch with me really well. Here's the email. I got to make sure I read it exactly as it says here. So, Nathan, I've recorded a 2-minute for you on how you can attract 60 PO users. So I don't know who PO users are, or I think it's supposed to be 2 minutes. Was that
Poor
users? Okay.
That's what we say in the South. PO.
Okay, in 60 days, and you pay $0. Mind if I send it? No. Mind if send it over here.
I'm pretty sure that would be a very good indicator that this is a phishing email.
It could. Now, at the very bottom, I guess he tried to get a hold of me because he replied to his message that he tried to get a hold of me the first time, but he didn't include any of the reply stuff. He just decided to cut and paste stuff in there because normally if you have a reply, you have a whole subject down there, a reply.
So he replied to his email as if you replied to his email?
Yeah, and I didn't reply to it, so it was kind of like we had already had a conversation that said that I was very urgent in learning how I could attract 60 new users. So I responded back to him in an email, which I didn't. So David Guest, best of luck. You need to spend a little bit more time. You can use ChatGPT to help you on your
let's not give them any
What?
hints there, buddy.
Do they not know about Grammarly?
Grammarly, ChatGPT. I mean, there's 1,000 things
no
out there
effort
nowadays.
Done.
I'm going to say something that's going to be very awful.
Do it.
Okay.
That no matter how bad that is, they still scam people with it.
Yep.
Oh, of course.
They do. That's the worst thing is it's going to have me. They're offering clients if I just engage with them. Once I engage with them, who knows what happens there? But their whole is I'm a struggling business. They're hoping for I can get 60 new clients for free, that I set up a time to talk with them.
Yep, it's unfortunate, but that
will actually work.
He would get more if he were better literate, but
maybe
if if he's targeting an English audience, of course. Yes. So there we go.
All right, Mike. So you have a big winner. This is a big email. This is a big email.
This is the one that almost got you. Huh?
I actually clicked on this link.
Okay, so this is from eSign Service eSign Automated Voice Notice. A long string of letters and numbers. Alex at foxtonbud.com.
I did not click on the email address. I did not see who it was from, and the from came on up, and it looked like it was a real DocuSign signature that was coming on in.
Yeah, this has a DocuSign tag on it. It says view completed document. You said that it looked like they were using the DocuSign logo.
All the links, everything looked pretty darn good, and I actually clicked the link here.
Okay, what happened when you clicked the link?
It sent me to a hijacked Google site, which then replicated my Office 365 login. Now, so DocuSign is not Office 365.
No, DocuSign is its own thing.
But what it did is it replicated my name, my user login, all the fields in there. It did such a good job that I took back and I said, what is it doing? What email did I just click on? I thought it was a DocuSign document that I was looking for. Why is the 360 login there? Now, if they would have actually done a 360 thing, you know what? They may have got me to actually input a password, and then I would have realized after 2 or 3 times of logging in that I had the right password and it didn't come on up. It was that good. Now, I forwarded this to a bunch of other technicians, and they've all looked at it, and they said, okay, Nathan, if you look at the email address, it should have triggered it, but they actually clicked on the links, and the links were impressive enough for them that one of them, a cybersecurity individual, says that the time that this company or person put into this was probably directed at myself specifically because it had my username and password in there, that it was probably a good hour to 2 hours worth of time and effort to have social engineered me to get me to click on that link and almost put in my information.
Well, what happened? What happened after that? 'Cause
Well,
I know I clicked the link.
You click the link. I sent it to all of you guys to click the link. Google, it was reported to Google. Google, that was the application form that people were using to fill this out, pulled it down, told everybody that it was no longer accessible. And so if you click on the link now, it's a dead link. But when it was active, it was good enough to get, if you're in a rush, a very good cyber criminal.
Yep, this is how they get you. They're taking advantage of your psychology.
I was
to get you to
anticipating
do
a
things.
document to get signed, and the document just so happened to come into my inbox. I'm like, okay, this must have been the document I talked with somebody else about, and I was ready to go.
There you go.
All right, so be careful. All right, Odie, the last one goes to you. What do we have for your letters?
We have an email from postmaster at mg.cryptopiarescue.com
Okay.
on behalf of
On behalf.
American Express.
Uh-oh.
So it says, this is a secure encrypted message with a reference number C- blah blah blah. Dear card member, you have new message from American Express encryption technology. View your message, a big button. Pending credit will be posted after your approval. Regret any inconvenience you may have experienced. Thank you for the opportunity to assist in this manner. Sincerely, American Express.
Okay, so on behalf of, they have up there on behalf
On
of.
behalf.
They didn't hide their email address.
No.
So Chase, people do this with Chase. People do this with all the banks, Wells Fargo's, everybody that are out there, all the banks they kind of put it on behalf of.
Mhm.
And what happens is some of these companies use third-party providers to send out these email notifications. Banks, there's 2 banks that are out there that specifically have been used to target this from other individuals. And guess what happens?
People click it.
People click
on
it
the button.
Wow.
and think that it's available. Financial items are big concerns, and everybody wants to somehow get money. The scams that are out there for people to click on either accounts to verify transactions, get everybody each and every day. So the moral of the story is be careful what you click on. Do not be in a rush. When you click on an email in a rush, you're going to have a lot more time that you need to spend to verify it than if you would have just waited and clicked on it later.
Yeah.
It's okay to be late on emails. Don't click on them immediately. If someone needs to get a hold of you, they'll figure out a way to get a hold of you.
It's inevitable that you will.
Okay.
All these unfortunately have an inevitability factor because we are all of us have low points where we're not paying enough attention, or we have too much other stuff going on, or we're way stressed out and we just don't want to deal with things. So
Or anticipating
Yeah.
something.
or we're looking for a thing, and then it just happens to come into our inbox, and we were expecting something, so we just go into automatic pilot mode. So
And all it needs is just a one time.
Just the one time.
yep, just one time.
And whatever you do, don't get on the phone conversation with anybody from a support. If you ever hear anybody on a support call and you hear a bunch of background noise, if it's a professional company, they will not use a call center that has background noise. They try to isolate their agents in soundproof areas. Even Comcast and these big multi-conglomerates aren't going to have a whole background noise to be there. So, all right, there you go. That ends our segment letters. Now let's move on to our Mike's mesmerizing moment.
Welcome to Mike's mesmerizing moment. What does Mike have to say today?
Mike, is social media good for teenagers at all, or should we limit this to adults only?
Why don't we talk about whether
Ooh.
I think that is social media good for anybody?
Well, is social media good for anybody?
No, I don't think so. We have seen that social media is the benefits of social media are far outweighed by the problems that social media has given us. It's like I need to get from A to B destination quick, so I'm going to wade through the sewer to get there.
Okay.
That's kind of how it plays out. I don't think it's good for teenagers. I don't think it's good for children. I don't necessarily think it's good for adults. But because adults are supposed to have more rational skills.
Yeah.
We can argue that.
Okay. You don't think it's good for teenagers?
I don't think it's good for anybody. I think this sort of idea that we've got going, like I said earlier, these systems were built to addict you to them. They were built, and whether it was something they figured out right up front, or they just started seeing patterns and started looking at the way those patterns were playing out, and then kept repeating those systems so that the patterns would repeat.
Yeah.
They have created a monster system that will grab your attention, and then it will do everything it possibly can to hold it. And we are getting inundated with all kinds of information that we don't need.
All right,
and
Odie.
not just teenagers are suffering mental health wise either.
Okay.
So are adults. We just have different ways of coping.
All right. Odie, question for you.
Yeah.
If you didn't have social media as a teenager, would that have been more positive on your life or negative, do you think? Think about it. We're going to go to a commercial break, and you will need to tell us when we come back. All right. We'll see you in just a few moments. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
If you like our show, if you really like us, we could use your support on patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm the English guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English
Okay,
language
so it's
all the
It's
time.
Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you really like our show, you can subscribe to patreon.com and help us out.
Oh, and you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on?
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
You know what our Facebook page is?
TechTime Radio.
At TechTime Radio.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's TechTime Radio.
Or you can even Instagram with us.
And that's at TechTime Radio.
That's at TechTime Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's TechTime Radio.
It's at TechTime Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social
media.
media.
Like us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it.
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
We're going all the way in the Wayback Machine to September 14th, 1956. The first commercial hard drive was created. The IBM 350 disk storage unit Model 1 was announced, which was the first commercial storage unit to use a magnetic disk storage, the technology behind hard disk drives. About the size of 2 refrigerators and weighing in at 1 ton, the 350 could store about 4 to 5 megabytes, depending on how it was calculated. Now, the 350 disk storage unit was designed to replace the punch card tube file system, which was the primary means of storing repeated access data until the creation of the hard drive. That was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some tech time history with over 200 weekly broadcasts spanning 5+ years of video, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com to watch these older shows. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have the Mark Mumble Whiskey Review. See you after this break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
We're good. Talk about your math skills.
Yeah, here we go. All right. What do we have for us, Odie Mark?
Well, real quick. Oh, I like that. Okay, real quick. Do you know what today is?
I have no clue what
Okay.
that was.
Well, get ready for this.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect you.
All right, so that sounds like Schoolhouse Rock.
It's a Schoolhouse Rock Day?
Is it Schoolhouse Rock Day?
It's Constitution Day.
Oh.
So that was the preamble, courtesy of Schoolhouse Rock.
Okay.
which we all loved growing up.
I'm just a bill sitting
No,
on a
it's
hill.
Anyway,
Interplanet Janet.
waiting
So,
on capital.
Today
Yeah.
honors the document that guarantees Americans their essential rights. Since its ratification in 1787, the Constitution of the United States has served as the basis for all U.S. laws, like your bill.
Okay.
To prevent the abuses of power they felt subjugated to under the British monarchy, the Founding Fathers framed the Constitution carefully, distributing power between three branches of government. One of the branches of the government is the legislative branch, which includes the senators.
Oh, the senators.
Today's whiskey, the Senator, is released by Proof and Wood Ventures. They are interesting because they source all their whiskey and age it themselves. Their name comes from the two things they control as a blender and finisher of fine spirits, and the two things that are incredibly important to any spirit's flavor: the proof it's bottled at and the wood of the barrel they age it in.
Okay.
What does Mark think of the whiskey?
I'm sure Mark likes this whiskey. I'm going to take a guess he does.
You think he does?
He likes rye. So
Yeah, I think he likes
he's at least okay with it.
It's not going to be a top shelf, but it's going to be his mid shelf type of deal.
When he first opened it, the neck pour was hot and overly spicy, strong on the ethanol and low on flavor. However, going back to it after it has sat on the shelf for a few weeks, it is a different story. The burn has smoothed out and the baking spices are popping out with a little mint. It has turned into a nice pour, better than a cocktail mixer. But no, Nathan, not on his top shelf, yet on his shelf. So you were right.
That's right. There you go.
This is a rye lover's sipper.
There you go. That is exactly correct.
Yeah.
I like rye. This would be perfect if I'm smoking a cigar outside.
It's making me cough.
What's that?
It's making me cough.
It's making you cough. I like this. I can already. It's got that strong hint. This is the whiskey I like. If I was just to have whiskey just like this, a nice straight
So
rye.
you liked it?
What's that?
You liked it?
I love this.
Wait for the.
I really
tastings,
am
but-
not sold on that, buddy.
What's
Based on the faces you make
I don't know
with
this
stuff
one.
that's similar.
Well, I think this. I don't. So this.
He's a
burn
proud
is not
American.
He's a proud American.
He's a proud
right.
American, and he wants to honor the senator. Okay.
senator.
Yeah,
Single
okay.
barrel proof.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
There's nothing more American than rye whiskey.
Well, Odie, thanks for the mumble.
Of course.
As always, whiskey and technology. What a great pairing. Just like Apple and a new product launch every year.
Are you gonna ask her the question?
Yeah, we're gonna go right here. That was the part to end it. So I asked a question that we led into.
Right.
Social media. You were a teenager that grew up on social media. Would you
Mhm.
rather have had it now as you becoming an adult?
Wait.
So if you got rid of it, would it be better never to have had social media, or did social media contribute in your life, do you think, in a positive way?
Ooh, I do think that it contributed in a positive way, but it has more negatives than positives
Okay.
in my eyes.
So if you didn't have it, you would have felt left out and missed out.
Oh, of
and-
course.
Okay.
But
Do you watch television?
Mhm.
Okay, you do watch television.
I did growing up, not anymore because of streaming, but
Okay.
you know.
I just didn't know if maybe that's where you got your news as a teenager and found out everything that was going on, or
I got my news at school.
okay.
See, I don't even have to say anything. She said it for me.
What's that?
It has some positives, but it has more negatives.
I don't know. I think of it because I didn't grow up with bullying or anything, but my siblings and cousins did. And it was a big thing for them that they had to have their phone taken away, that they were excluded from friend groups, or they were doxxed online. I never went through that, but that only happened because of social media.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Thank you so
What?
much. Let's prepare now for our technology fail of the week.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right. So let me just ask a generic question. How much is your DNA and privacy worth? Well, according to a company, 23andMe, they view every person's DNA and privacy at about $100. That's
Isn't
because
that how much it takes to do the thing?
I think it is about the same price. So I guess however much you pay into it, I guess is how much they value your privacy and DNA data. Because 23andMe has agreed to pay $30 million to settle a lawsuit over the company's data breach that ensnared 6.4 million users last year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do math.
Yeah.
30
He's
million.
horrible at math.
30 million for 6.4 million users.
Yep.
All right, now.
Well, we got some good stuff. On Friday, I
continue.
got the numbers. The DNA testing company filed a court document supporting a settlement that the company called the settlement was fair, adequate, and reasonable, and told that it intended to settle all U.S. claims according to last year's breach, which exposed customer data on 23andMe to a hacker. The attackers pulled this off by first breaching 14,000 accounts and then exploiting the service's optional DNA relatives feature to access the profiles of millions of other users. The breach became evident after the hacker tried to sell the stolen DNA-related information in a forum at $10,000 for 10,000 user profiles. To break this down, that's simply a $1 for your DNA and personal information from 23andMe. Now, according to the court documents, the $30 million settlement doesn't look like it will result in a payment to all affected victims. The settlement, which needs final court approval, proposes offering $10,000 for the funds of users who fell for an extraordinary claim, meaning that they demonstrated what the breach caused them to suffer financial fraud. Meanwhile, at least 25% of the $30 million will go towards paying attorney fees. Other users only entitled to $100 in payment. Those include 23andMe customers based in Alaska, California, Illinois, or Oregon, which have genetic privacy laws with damages provisions built in. So they already have damage provisions built in that the maximum
it's $100
in Alaska, California, Illinois, and Oregon get is $100. That's all you get. So if you get compromised, company only has to pay you $100. All right. So our big technology fail goes to 23andMe, not only for giving the DNA out of everybody that has provided a test, but then deciding that your data is only worth $100. All right. Now let's go to our Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right. Do you know we're losing our digital history?
Yes, we've talked about this before. The internet is dying.
The internet is dying. Chat bots, AI bots are taking groups of information and deciding to provide information for users, and websites are disappearing. Listen to this. A quarter of all web pages that existed at some point between 2013 and 2023 now don't.
Yep.
A quarter of all web pages have disappeared. That according to a recent study by Pew Research Center, a think-based group in Washington, D.C., which raised the alarm of our disappearing digital history. Researchers found the problem is more acute, that the older web pages is 38% of web pages that Pew tried to access existed in 2013, no longer function. But it's also more of an issue of recent publications. Some 8% of web pages published at some point in 2023 were gone by October of the same year. What's concerning here is that there's no formalized public effort to document the web. The Internet Archive has become a critical piece of digital infrastructure. They have the Wayback Machine and other would take screenshots of information, but none of the sub-pages, web pages, articles, or informations have been stored. So if you want to go and visit a website now, you can visit the Wayback Machine project, or you can look at what is being done for our new Internet Archive project, which is going to go and create records of those that have had web pages in the 21st century on. Now, a few other organizations, big and small, like the U.S. Library of Congress, for example, preserves government websites, the sites of Congress members, and a collection of U.S. news sites. But the Library of Congress isn't able to find out all of the items globally. The United States has done a good job, according to keeping records of web, but the whole internet as a whole has not. It's essentially a fire hose of information and material, says Hicks. Says it doesn't make sense to try to catch everything up with this fire hose, but we'll see what we can do at a resource standpoint to document the web. Now, it's interesting because we don't have people really writing books as much as historians did back in the 18th century, 1800s, in the 1900s even, where we had people writing journals, writing documents, publishing books of information. Everything went to the internet for businesses and personal blogs and information. People haven't kept those.
Yeah. Yes.
That information
it's not a good thing.
May be gone forever.
Yeah, it is.
There's going to be a gap.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee. All right. Well, now let's do our pick of the day.
The Senator Single Barrel Proof Company is Proof Wooded Ventures, sourced in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, age 6 years. What do you guys think?
Nope.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Okay.
4 days down. I'm doing a thumbs up.
Yours doesn't count twice.
You
Well,
don't no,
one
well,
thumb up.
no, but he did tell me on the way in that he liked it.
I did.
Yeah, I know. We know.
So-
We know.
I haven't
Nathan-
changed.
Nathan is a pre-tester.
Right.
That's right. I am. I
Anyway.
enjoy. Well, we did miss Mark for being in the studio, but Odia did a great job taking
Thank you.
care of it. What's funny is that I did kind of figure it would be a middle shelf whiskey for Mark.
Yeah, I was surprised that you figured that out. So
Yeah, I kind of
You
got
were
his.
wrong,
I
Mark.
kind of got his read down. He kind of likes this buttery. If it's a buttery tasting whiskey, that's his type. If it's a little bit too much, all right. Well, Mike, did you have a good time today?
Sure.
Let's thank all of our listeners. Join us next week where Bites collide, circuits sing, and geeks reign supreme. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.